Hello, everyone. Looks like people are trickling in here. Hello and welcome. Happy to have you all here. I'm going to let everyone come in. We've got a bunch of people in the waiting room here. Hold on. While we're waiting, I'm going to ask a little lobby small talk question here. I'm just wondering, well, people are trickling in. If you could give me some helpful feedback before we start. First of all, happy 2022. I'm very happy to have you all here, and I'm very much looking forward to connecting with you. I know I've got some familiar people that are pretty regular at our meetings, then I've got some new people, so good to see those familiar faces again, and it's great to see you new faces. Happy. Question for you, you can answer in the chat while we're waiting for people to come in. I'm going to give that like 1 or 2 minute buffer. What's a good time to meet with you? I struggle with this. We've got people all over the country and world. If you want to just write in the chat, a good time and maybe your time zone. Before I was trying noon here for our East Coasters. That didn't work for West Coasters, so I always get my wires crossed. So if anyone wants to take a moment, just write in the chat. That would be really helpful for me, some data collection. Quick roadmap of what we're going to do. First of all, I want to give a special thank you to those of you that have students that are already enrolled. Thank you very much. I appreciate you, and I'm really happy about starting out 2022 with your students in Young Scholars classes. Moving forward, I look forward to having them in the current classes that they're in and other classes. The other group of people that I want to appeal to are people that are maybe on the fence and not sure about what to expect from Young Scholars classes or maybe the current offerings. So quick roadmap. I'm going to keep this meeting to 30 minutes. I will try to be brief. I value your time, as some of you are joining from the East Coast, and well, it's quite late, even on the West Coast. So 3 things that we're going to do. First of all, we're going to just start with a little course overview. We're going to talk about that little gift that I'm giving people that are enrolled by midnight tonight. And then we are going to, at the end, if you want to stick around for an extra 5 minutes or so, brainstorm courses. I've had LA Parent and Orange County Parent and some other magazines reach out to me and say, what are you doing this summer? And I was like, oh my God, I'm in Q1 right now. I'm planned out to March. So I want to pick your brains and see what kind of things are going to interest you, just something to think about. So again, very happy to have you all here. Mr. Sam of Young Scholars Academy, for those that don't know me, and let's dive in. Please feel free to light up the chat. If you have a question and you want to interrupt me midstream, do so, and I'll tell you if I can get to it now or if I'm going to get to it later. That first thing that I want to do is just kind of tease all of you with the upcoming courses that we've got this spring. Okay, so those are as followed. We've got Global Citizens, which I'm going to go into each course in a moment. I'm just going to tease you first. Global Citizens, Critical Thinkers, and Truth Seekers. The next one is Communicating Club or Socializing Secrets, which is just shorter than a regular class, kind of an informal club. College Essay Launchpad, which is to help 2E students write their college essays and have fun doing it. Probably more attractive to you than your students. Young and Thriving Freshman Edition. We brought this class back. This is a really popular one. And we've seen some pretty transformative freshman and 8th grade experiences so far in this one. And then there is the senior version, which is helping students not get ready for high school, but get ready to wrap up high school and get ready for college or whatever might come next. And then of course we've got speech and debate, and there are 2 unlisted courses that I'll be sharing as well. So I've got some unlisted courses that run all year and I don't really advertise much. So real quick, to the parents who have already signed up and everyone that signs up by midnight, I recently did an hour-long seminar. I was called an expert, can you believe it? And I was talking about socializing, socializing tips, helping twice exceptional students socialize to a strengths-based perspective, right? Rather than, oh, my kid can't do this and yada, yada, yada. How can we connect with our students' strengths and help them leverage those strengths to make meaningful relationships and feel pretty freaking good about connecting and socializing? So people paid $60, believe it or not, to go to this talk, and I'm going to send it to everyone that's registered for free. If you want to, pop some popcorn and sit back and watch yours truly go on for an hour about this. If this is meaningful to you, I will be sending that to you all. So I'm giving that until midnight, and I'll send it out tomorrow. I just wanted to show you that. All right, so let's dive into each of our classes quickly. Again, I'm trying to be mindful of your time. If I am overly caffeinated and going too fast, I have ADHD and I do that. So just tell me to slow down. You won't hurt my feelings. This is for you. Okay, so first class, this is Global Citizens. And the idea behind this class is really helping students understand current events, understand bias, and be able to read between the lines. There's sort of two facets to this. One is that 2E kids often get overwhelmed by the weight of the world when we talk about current events. They feel they're empaths. They connect with things like global warming and terrorism, and they get overwhelmed. So this is a course for students. You can see it's quite a wide range because it's really an individual journey. But the idea is that the course meets about 5 times to help students learn how to detect bias, try to figure out strategies to read where something is coming from and what's being said and what's not being said, most importantly, omission, and then also be able to have a safe space to talk about things that might be scary or overwhelming and so forth. So current events course is a really important one. I think this is something a lot of our students are into and just lack the space to discuss. So really excited about this. And again, in a space, there's a great quote from a professor at Stanford. He says, in a time when we can get news from what's happening in Tehran to San Francisco in less than a minute, it becomes increasingly important that we learn to filter and figure out what's being said, what's being missed, and so forth. And I think our students can be good at that, but a lot of them accept what's on the internet as truth. So this is a really great class for those 2 reasons. And again, that's grades 5 through 12. Okay, next one. Breakneck speed here. Oh, you know what? I want to do 2 things. Sorry, I was going to go back through it twice, but anyone that's enrolled in this or planning enrolling in this course, it can be supported at home. One great way to support your students at home is to just perhaps share where you get your current events from with your kid and just explain why. Okay, one great way to do that is just kind of explain, look, mom, dad, aunt, uncle, we get our current events from here, and here's one of the reasons why. There are many great sources, and maybe here are some of the things we think of. And then just asking each week, what are you learning? And I know that's a classic, right? Like a lot of 2E kids, nothing. They don't want to talk about it. But if you can maybe say, this is how I learn, I'm wondering how you're learning or what you're looking at, and maybe open up some of the questioning at home rather than just what did you learn today, son? They might get a little bit more out of that. Also, I'm sharing some deep fakes and stuff like that. That usually gets them pretty excited. So you can ask about that. Okay, number 2, Socializing Secrets Communication Club. This is something that was created. I'm doing this really for the first time. I've been struggling to figure out how can I have a place where students can come together and connect. And rather than being, I'm going to quote Dr. Susan Baum, rather than being a sage on the stage, being a guide on the side, how can I help facilitate some different skills while not having one of these behavioral therapy, you're broken and you need to socialize this way classes. So the goal of this program is really to create kind of a fun class where, there's a mentor facilitating socializing, and students are able to connect. And then I introduce and kind of pepper in different ways in which they might do that. So different skills and strategies and so forth. And I have some really cool tips and tricks for especially for ASD students. Again, not fixing behavior. I don't believe that they're broken, but just how to notice something. Hey, if someone's feet are pointed away from me, but they're looking at me, maybe they want to get away. That's something I should watch. Maybe they're not interested. So different things like that can help figure out, how to read someone else, not expecting them to necessarily change. And it's a sensitive subject. Sorry, you can tell I hate behavioral therapy. That I shouldn't say hate. I dislike this idea that we need this medical model that we need to fix our kids. We don't. We just need to help them. So this is a really cool class. It's for younger students, 5th through 10. Like everything, these are rough recommendations. If you want to email me, if you're not sure, my kid's a little younger, my kid's a little older, we can figure it out. But this is a really cool class. These are, just to note, these are a little shorter. Okay, so you notice this is my only 45-minute class because it's a club, not a class. So great thing to do there. And again, you can ask your students, what kind of strategies are you learning, and maybe share some things that worked for you. I basically do that throughout the whole class. Maybe this is a good opportunity for you to express some vulnerability and show ways you've overcome social anxiety or ways you leverage your strengths to socialize, at work with friends, etc. So kind of a trend here. rather than what'd you learn today. Any questions? Let me stop for a second. Any questions so far? Okay. Yes, Debbie. Oh, you're muted, Debbie.
Thanks. I have a question about the one that just came up. Is that, oh, no, not that one. Anyway, my question was about the one that's for 8th and 9th graders.
Okay, yes.
And I was wondering, is that geared towards schooled kids or homeschooled kids, or it depends on who signs up, or how does that work?
It doesn't matter. The idea is it's basic executive function 101, and it's how to create I'm going to go out of order. I'll do that one right now. But the idea behind this class, this was created, I made the college class, and then some parents reached out to me and said, this is great. Why do we have to wait 4 years? My student's struggling now. And I said, oh yeah, okay, let's backtrack. So I created a freshman version. It's for 8th graders or 9th graders. And again, 2E kids are all over the place. So take everything I say with a grain of salt in terms of grades and ages. Actually, Young Scholars Academy was created because I was tired of age restrictions. So, some kid that's like 10 years old, but could really crush a debate tournament. I'm like, that kid needs to learn debate. So the Young and Thriving program is to create an independent, strength-based task management system. So creating a workflow. And whether you're a homeschooler, I'd argue it's even more important, or an in-schooler, the system works for both. Yes, I hope I answered your question. Mm-hmm. Awesome. Okay, so yeah, this is a really popular class. I'm bringing it back again. And this is, I have a great little quote on here, I think, from a mom that was really excited about this class because her son made a great task management system that was excellent. So I just want to say that this is, I think, one of the classes, all the classes are really fun and they all bring a lot, but I think that everyone should take this class or the senior version. I firmly believe that our students have great ability to do so much, and they don't often get to show that because we live in a production-based world. And the reality is that the strengths fall through the cracks when the systems have chasms in them, right? And so if we can, or there's no systems at all, which I get a lot. So creating a system that can show, hey world, I kick butt, look what I can do, and be able to help them get things across the finish line. Okay, so that's a great class too. And again, that's for 8th and 9th graders. And all this is on the website. Backtracking one, another one, again, not super sexy, I think, probably to your students, but I think it's such an important class. I taught a senior program at a high school before at Bridges Academy, and I created that program with a couple other colleagues, and every senior struggled with college essays. And it occurred to me every year, 2E kids take a ton of time to get stuff done. They have a unique story, and there's a lot of holes in their resume, right? They need a good essay because they need to show that they are awesome and they have superpowers. And they need to also explain why they've been in 10 schools in 4 years, maybe. And they take a long time to do it. So it's a mess. And every year we would wait. So I said, why don't we start in 10th and 11th grade, at least introducing the college essay writing process and getting kids to think, how can I show my badge? How can I show my strengths to colleges, to postgraduate university, to gap year programs, whatever, and get started early. So I say there's 3 main goals. One is just to get familiar. Hey, this process is coming up, kiddo, be aware of it. 2, getting them to, really discover their voices and think, how can I create my own narrative? I just had my seniors read The Alchemist in Young and Thriving Senior Edition. We're talking about our personal legend and following our heart. How can I show my personal legend to a school, and rather than be a kid with a bunch of gaps and not the grades I deserve, someone that maybe should be invested in? Maybe a college should take a risk on me because they won't regret it. And then again, just kind of sharing tips and tricks from yours truly. So this is another great class, again, for 10th and 11th graders. And it really is not too early, to get your kids writing. If you have a 9th grader and you're thinking, hey, Sam, is this okay? Sure, it's fine. Let's do it. Let's start them early. So another great class there. I'm going to do one more and then I'll stop for questions again. If anyone feels nauseous or dizzy because I'm going too fast, I'm sorry. I've decided, so we have 2 sections. of the senior version of that class I was talking about, which is the College Secrets class, Young and Thriving Senior Edition. And this is a year-long class, but I've decided to open it up. One of the classes is smaller and there's still room for maybe 2 students. And I thought, instead of being really like OCD like I am and saying, no, the class started, I want to open it up. So students can join if you have a senior that's not in this class. And this is the class where we are, again, kind of looking to the future. We have already done some work. We have put together task management systems. We have, has anyone seen the Simon Sinek speech, Start with Why? We're doing a lot of, if you haven't, it's a write it down. It's actually one of the first TED Talks, 2009. It's happened in the recession. It's just old school. He did it with a poster board, okay? And he talks about how the difference between like Apple and Dell, right? Like Apple says, we think differently, and Dell says we make computers. And the difference is that one company has started a cult because they start with why, not what, right? So I get the seniors in their senior year to start with why, to think all year, what's my why, right? What's the, Martin Luther King, I have a dream. That's a why, that's not a what. And people get behind that. So I try to get the seniors to do that. And then we spend the year looking at things like personal finance, socializing skills for college, making the most of your senior year, getting letter recommendations, office hours, all that stuff. But we're constantly doing it through that lens of, what's my why? What's my journey going to be? So that course is running. It's an ongoing course that meets every Tuesday, and it goes all the way through graduation. I'm toying with maybe doing one for college students next year too, but shouldn't tell you that yet because I'm not sure I'm going to do it. Okay, I said I'd stop. Any questions? Okay, so just to recap of what we've done so far, we've got our Global Citizens, okay, current events for 2E kids. We've got Socializing Secrets Club, helping students connect. We've done College Essay Launchpad. We've got Young and Thriving Freshmen, Young and Thriving Seniors, and then we have 3 more. We've got Speech and Debate Level 1 and Level 3. You may be asking, where's 2? Well, I don't have enough time to teach it 2. So we have students that have kind of stuck with me. I have some students that have been in debate for some time and that are returners. And then we have students that are new. So this really is the program that started Young Scholars Academy. And I am a huge proponent for twice exceptional students the world over learning how to organize their thinking. They are the smartest minds in the room and the most misunderstood. And I think that it's so important that our students learn how to understand the foundations of how people are persuaded, understand how to organize their thinking, and then be able to do the persuading, right? These are the leaders, the innovators. These are the kids that are going to be changing the world, excuse me, or maybe there's more than one. And they're often talked over, not talking at all, and so forth. And so, that's so important. And I always say an added bonus of this class is that kids get better at writing because they learn how to organize their speech. Debbie.
Connor's mom, and he did level 1. So will you be doing level 2 in like March or April, or can he do how does it work?
So, okay, so this is like my greatest weakness. I don't explain my system. So let me do that right now. Thank you for calling me on that. So each one has 3 modules. So there's level 1, module 1. So your son, Connor, would go on to 1.2. And the reason I do that is because all the way through level 1, it's still early enough for new students to join, but also advanced enough for returning students to keep going. So we're introducing new stuff and there's still kind of a buffer. And then once we get to level 2 and level 3, I'm more reluctant to let in newer students to those. So that's confusing. So there'll be level 1, and then it goes 1.1, 1.2, and then 1.3, and then it goes 2, and the cycle continues. Yeah, I need to get my thoughts down.
So that means if he's done one class, he's done 1.0?
He did 1.1. Okay. Yeah, the 1.0 is kind of the first class. Again, very confusing. But in short, if you have a student that's taken 1 debate class with me, or you have a student that's taken no debate classes with me, they could both take this class.
Okay.
And I would love to have Connor back for the record. Please. Okay. Other questions before I move on? Yes, Beth.
So if we were just starting, what class would my son take then in this debate?
Yeah, this one. Yeah, so there's
The
this one.
1.2?
Yes, yeah, yep. And again, I kind of go a bit slower, and I have the returners recap so that they can teach the new guys, and that cements that learning and also helps the new people. So this is the probably really, like I said, the last class when I take new students, and then it kind of keeps going. Just to give you some perspective, some of these students have been in this class for a year, because that's like almost 9 modules. And so they are a pretty kick butt type group. This is the first Young Scholars Academy group that had an ongoing class. So yeah, if you have a kiddo that wants to join us, this is a great class.
Okay.
Excellent. Other questions out there, folks? Yes, back to Debbie, and then I've got 9 minutes, so I'm going to beat feet real quick.
Okay. Why are all of your classes in the evening? Do you have a day job or something?
No, I don't. The reason is because I have a small list. I only started a year and a half ago. My dream is to create a massive ecosystem that like offers 2E kids salvation. So I'd like to grow my list so that I can have classes all day and reach everyone all over the world. I mean, I would love to be the size of like a Brighton Quirky or something like that. I'm just small now, and this is when people can show up, it seems. So
Okay.
to answer your question, I hope to not be this next year, but this is where I am now. So if you guys can help me, if you know students, like if you've taken a Young Scholars class and you're thinking like, hey, there's something here, if you can tell people or send people my way, that is the best form of growing and serving the 2E families. Okay, last 2 things. If you have students in speech and debate and you're looking for ways to support them at home, I would simply ask them to explain the foundations of persuasion to you. There's sort of an X and a Y axis. We look at how people are persuaded, and then what are the elements of a speech. So those 2 get longer and longer as they go further and further. And if you have students in either of these classes, I would just try to use that language. How are people persuaded? What methods are effective for persuasion? And then how are effective speeches structured? And again, as we go further and further, that gets more nuanced. And then the last 2 classes for any of my people that are here from AP, I teach 2E AP. If you have students that would want to take this next year, I have AP Government, I do AP History, I have AP Psychology, and I just want to announce that the test is coming up in May, and we're going to do our practice test March 19th. So any AP families that are here that are watching, AP tests are coming up soon, and our practice tests are coming up sooner. So mark those on your calendar. Again, just like the college essay, I'm a huge believer in AP, specifically because it's a great way to show our colleges, again, hey, I've got holes in my transcript, but look, I got a 5, okay? I'm wicked smart. So it's a good opportunity to be able to do that. Alrighty, so I wanted to leave the last 5 minutes to kind of close out and ask, if there's any questions, if you have any concerns, anything like that. And then I am going to ask one final question of you all, which is just about course ideas for the future. So any questions out there about anything that we have covered? I'll just do a screen scroll. This is all here. I'll put this in the chat as well.
I actually have one more question.
Please.
About the Global Citizens
Yes.
class.
Yes.
My son is the opposite, where he has impulse control issues, meaning that he's not concerned. He doesn't feel it so deeply that it hurts him. He wants to talk about every global issue out there right now, almost to the detriment, it's intimidating to others.
Yeah.
So is this more of a gentle ease into it, or is this a full-on discussion of current political events? Because
it's sort of a combo, Beth. It starts out quite gentle, but look, the students that come to this class are usually students that like to discuss, feel, and like debate. So there's often, your son fits the description. I usually describe the student that feels the weight of the world, because that is common. But we also do have a lot of students that fit your son's description, which is really wrapped up in them and having a hard time if anyone can't keep up. And talking about, how can we make sure that we can kind of check in with someone and see if they're interested, and also say, what are your sources? Here are mine, and maybe we can come to a nuanced understanding.
Okay.
Good one. Thank you. Yes, Amanda. You're still muted, Amanda. I'm going to ask you to unmute. I'll click that button and see if it helps. There we go.
So I have a quick question about the social skills class. What ages? I know it's seems like quite a large age difference, and I have almost a 15-year-old who seems to do better with kids close to his age.
Mm-hmm.
Is there a way of knowing that? I just want to make sure it's a good fit for him.
Yeah, it's a great question. And again, being a smaller business, I don't have necessarily the luxury of being like 5th through 7th grade, let's say.
Yeah.
But what I find is that one of the really nice things about Young Scholars Academy is that these kids really do connect over interests, and that age seems to not be as important. Okay. Like if someone's super interested in the history of Tehran, I don't know why I keep using that example, but like
the city of Tehran.
Yeah, I don't know. People don't seem to care as much. That being said, I do offer a 24-hour money back guarantee.
Okay.
So if you come and your kiddo's like, hey, you know what, this group's too young.
Okay.
Just email me within 24 hours, and it's no hard feelings.
Okay. Thank you.
You're welcome. Okay, other questions out there, folks? All right, in the last thing I'm going to say, and then if you want to stick around and brainstorm with me for an extra 5, you can. If not, no worries. Again, I'm going to send out, for everyone that signed up, I will send out the keynote speech that I delivered recently on socializing. I hope it's valuable for you, and I want to thank you for being a community member, a village member at Young Scholars Academy. I so appreciate you all. Again, this started as a dream of just creating an enclave for twice exceptional kids to just have even 1 hour a week where they could be with other kids and feel like safe and seen and understood. And it's grown. It's been the best year of my life. And I hope that it will continue to do so. And I found that I can do everything under the sun, but the most valuable thing is when parents find something that works like this. If you tell a couple other parents, it grows exponentially. So if this is your first time and you're just checking us out, just keep an open mind. If you've been here before and you believe in the work that I'm doing and you believe in Young Scholars, if you can please tell other people to check me out, that helps me realize my dream of serving so many 2E people. And I think it makes a better experience for all of our students as well. So thank you. And again, feel free to go. It's quite late for some of you. My last question, if you want to stick around and chat, is just what kind of classes do you want? I'm looking ahead to the rest of Q1. I'm looking to the spring break. I'm looking all the way to the end of the year and even summer. So if you're not a chatter and you want to literally chat, feel free to do that. If you want to just unmute and yell out ideas for 5 minutes at me, I would love that too. Soak me in your creativity. And again, if you need to go, if you're fried and you can't listen to me yap anymore, I thank you so much. I appreciate the heck out of you, and I look forward to serving your kids.